Red 2 standing by, all 4 lit, and in the green, welcome back to Metroid Prime. After a slightly disastrous run last time, we're ready to go with our brand new Plasma Beam. Note that a shot from the Plasma Beam will shatter crystallites. And you are just who I wanted to see. Now stand here. Let me get around. Ice-based enemies crumble before the might of the Plasma Beam. If I sneak up on that Sheegoth... For an apparently short-range weapon, the Plasma Beam does have good reach. We can tear away at most adversaries. A charged shot rips through them. Can't quite reach there though, so it is short range. The charged shots do increase our range a bit though. Now, if we want to, we can find the flicker bats and we can observe that we see their path. Well, we can observe their path. That was kind of redundant, say, observe that we see their path. Right, so... Okay, pointless prattling aside, we do have a pickup we can get just nearby. Believe it's around here. This ice... melted by our Plasma Beam. Very nicely done. We will have a few pickups in Phendrana. So I'll be spending today doing the only type of pickup work I actually know how to do. Seriously, it has been absolutely ages since I had a date, partly because of my own shyness and partly because, well, who in their right mind would want to go out with me? I'm sitting here talking to myself. It's certainly nice having all of you along for the ride, but... Oh, we can hit them from the front. Doesn't matter where we hit them. A good charge shot from the Plasma Beam will incinerate baby Sheegoths. So if we head through to Ice Ruins West, let's encounter the adult Sheegoth. Even though we can't utterly incinerate it, the Plasma Beam is the only beam weapon the adult Sheegoth can't redirect. Trust me, when it gets to some of the fights we have, there is a boatload of catharsis to be had by just burning everything inside. I think it might be in Ice Ruins East we can find something we can shatter with the Plasma Beam, or it's up... or it's further up there. There is something around here, so we will have to do a bit of moving around. It will be good to finally wrap up most of the pickups. We need as much as we can, or at least I like to have as much as I can, because we will have some pretty tough challenges ahead. That is just how things go. I went the long way. Oh well. Hopefully today will be a bit more mellow. We won't fall off a few things. Note that the crystallites have disappeared. If we flick our thermal visor on, we can see that there are still the ice shriek bats. But we can take care of them pretty easily with power beam shots. And they've very kindly left some power bomb ammunition, which we will have to use. If we jump over here... there's another power bomb expansion. Not too bad, all things considered. Maybe it was back in Ice Ruins East, so I'll head that way. Double check our map. That's Phendrana Canyon, Ruined Courtyard. Ruins Entryway, Phendrana Shorelines. Yeah, so we basically can't access the Ice Ruins East from here. We'll have to go back through this doorway. That was unusual, but... oh wait, they still do reflect those more powerful... those shots from the front. Weird. But at least We're in a really lovely ice area. And I landed on... I didn't fall off, but I did land on the crystallite. Oh well, fair enough, that's my loss, not quite paying attention. I was going to say, ice areas are often pretty beautiful when you're not having all your movement messed up. There can be some very lovely styles in terms of graphics, overall design and things like that. Maybe it's the color scheme being used. I think there's something sort of soothing and relaxing about the color blue. While it is often associated with feelings of depression, I think it's also got that lovely association with essentially something calm, something relaxing, like the ocean. There are things like that, little things that just help you relax, can be associated with the colour blue, at least so I think. Anyway, there we go. That's the one I was looking for. So, a couple more good pickups. We'll need to loop around and continue on our merry way back to the Chozo Ice Temple. So up here is the path we want to take. Do we have drones? Yes, we do. I shot a wall. Oh well. Good bit of flame throwing. There's the other one. And they just burn up. Surprisingly, the other one didn't just burn up. Oh well. We do have much tougher enemies now that we dealt with the Space Pirate fortifications. They're obviously taking things seriously, but we can handle them. We're pretty capable. There's been a lot of good work done. Let's see. Yeah, ice areas, they can be very relaxing, and there's often some very beautiful music. I mean, some of it can be particularly jolly if you're going some of the fun ice areas. Just Freeze Easy Peak, for example. And then there's stuff like all the ice levels in Diddy Kong Racing. Much as I don't like the Mario Kart series, I'd honestly have to say that Frappe Snowland is one of the most enjoyable tracks in the game. I really like its design, I like its music, and it is honestly just fun to race on. Now let's... Where did you come from? That was clever. Must have been right above us. Oh, there we are. That made a sharp turn. So, with our regular enemies out of the way, we'll be able to scavenge some items by climbing up this temple. Plenty of collectibles are still available. Let's see. Where are you? Don't think we have anything to worry about for now. But yeah, there are some very, very nice ice-themed levels in racing games at the very least. And when you're not having to deal with crappy ice physics, which I absolutely despise, then you can have some very beautifully designed ice levels. There are plenty of opportunities. I don't know if ice physics are particularly realistic. Here we go. But I do generally advocate for designing ice levels that don't rely on them. There's maybe a bit, but there's got to be some way to overcome it. Interestingly, everything in Banjo-Kazooie manages to overcome all the ice physics problems. The snow is a bit slippery. There's another Chozo artifact for us. The Artifact of Sun. Well, we're picking up plenty along the way. Yeah, Freeze Easy Peak is a really, really nicely designed ice level. You've got very cold water, which is quite realistic. it would be particularly frigid, in all fairness. You've got that beautiful music by Grant Kirkhope that just works so well. David Wise's music for the ice levels in Diddy Kong Racing is equally as fantastic. When you don't have all the attendant frustrations, basically, ice levels can wind up being something truly special. It's just a pity that so many of them do rely on having all those little irritations. So we need to make our way out to the Space Pirate base. So we need to go through Ice Ruins West for that. Oh, jumped into the flickerbat and couldn't quite stick that landing there. Oh well, bit of curiosity, worth trying. Oops, jumped into that one, but... You want to go? Interesting that the baby she-goths don't seem to have a problem with being shot in the mouth, but the adult ones do. There we are, snipe that from a distance and off we go. I really do wish they gave more consideration to ice levels that didn't have all those irritating issues with traction, because that was one of my big issues with some of the Mario 2D platforms. Apart from the fact that, as we've seen, from the fact I can't jump, that I really cannot do very well at 2D platformers. Probably because I can't jump, but I don't know, I've just never been that great with them. And some of the 2D platformers, at least I remember it from Super Mario Bros. 3 anyway, but the idea was basically you're having to go through all these fairly annoying challenges in the ice world where you've got to make jumps that are like 1 or 2 blocks wide, and you've got to try and land on everything while dealing... Oh, bounced me off. Alright, you really, really do want to die, don't you? Sorry about that. He was unfortunately cramping my style. But yeah, having to make ridiculously precise jumps onto very narrow blocks that are incredibly slippery is probably one of the big bugbears I have with ice levels in 2D platformers. It's basically, you're going to have to wind up fighting physics in a way that's terribly unrealistic. I mean, admittedly, most platformers are relatively unrealistic as far as physics go anyway. You can do things you really shouldn't be able to do, but at the same time, you'll probably have just enough realism in your physics to wind up falling to your death because momentum carried you off the edge. It's even worse in ice levels. You want to make a precise jump? Forget it. You are going to have to put up with all sorts of problems. Isn't that beautiful? Basically the same effect as a super missile, but no missile cost. And they deserve it. They deserve everything. The plasma beam is catharsis for all the crap you've been put through. So yeah, most of the time I do have a tendency to believe that ice physics are basically just an excuse for the developers to make really, really crap level design and just get away with a whole lot of artificially enhanced problems. Now, I admit that I really should have been doing the whole Palpatine thing on these just screaming unlimited power each time I use the Wave Buster. Whoops. How did it not notice me? It's like, oh wait, there's a person. Oh wait, I'm dead. That has got to be the most unobservant drone. Oh man. But yeah, so screaming and laughing and shooting lightning from my fingertips aside, I think some of the artificial elements they put into making ice levels particularly difficult. How did I not get hurt then? Some of the ways that ice levels are made artificially difficult detracts from a lot of the beauty, in all fairness, and the fact that Phendrana drifts doesn't have that problem. That's part of what makes it so wonderful, honestly. Now, I need to get over there. Now, if I'm careful... Yes, this is how we do it. That is much better. That's much better. And I'll have to remember that, unfortunately, we don't get enough ability. We don't really have enough time, quite realistically as far as physics goes, to latch on to magnetic rails as we're falling past them at speed. That's probably a bit more realistic than I was giving it credit for. When I was getting really frustrated, I didn't realize that I had just fallen past the bottom of that wall of magnetic rails. It was kind of stupid. You could see me hesitating as if I'm thinking, do I go for it? And I didn't. Also, this little room I think is called the Quarantine Monitor. Research on Talon 4 is expanding into new areas. Pending stabilization of the Thardus venture, we will expand in animation research to include other native Talon 4 materials. Interestingly enough, all that lichen we've been seeing, that's actually Phazon. The taming of Thardus continues. Barring unforeseen setbacks, it can be installed on Phazon Mine Patrol by Lotus Milestone. So yeah, this is the Quarantine Monitor. We'll have to head out of quarantine, yes I know, at the time, topical joke, which is probably going to wind up aging very fast, or not. Hopefully it does actually wind up aging very fast and we all get back to something remotely resembling a life. Okay. Whoops. Nope, that didn't quite work. Oh! They're coming after us. But we can escape. And they can't stomp us down off the spider ball rail, which is actually very, very fair. That would be really annoying if they could. Now, if we go through here, we'll eventually be able to get to another energy tank. Charge up our boost ball, wait patiently. And there we are. We get through this elevator room and we'll be able to grab an energy tank just through here. The plasma beam is what we need for it. There are plenty of little goodies all through this area. There we go. One more energy tank. That is all the energy tanks we can get until one of our penultimate bosses. Now, where are you? They are below me. Stick it, and let's find them. They're probably right down the bottom of the area, so if I'm careful... Okay, now don't worry about me. That time I meant to fall off, and it was only a short gap. Where are they? Okay, radar says there's one ahead of me, but they're all the way down there. Alright, let's just jump down and draw them out. Tired of waiting. Oh, hello, you're right there! Oh, that is a gel zap. Okay. Okay, we'll let him think I've drowned. We'll target the gel zap. We'll burn that down. There we are, the old hide under the water breathing it through a reed trick. Not too bad. Now note that time I didn't actually do Much that I'd consider stupid, and we all know that I'm a very harsh judge of my own abilities. I tried to ambush them, but wound up getting myself ambushed. Whoops. Yeah. Guess there really is a lot to enjoy about ice levels, in all fairness. I do enjoy the aesthetics of them when they're not sort of throwing in terrible mechanics and things like that. I've got a bit of a grudge against platformers that tend to use a lot of those artificial difficulty mechanics. Like, anytime auto-scrolling pops up, it's like either this is incredibly tedious, or it's just... It's incredibly tedious because you can't complete the level. Oh, look at that. That's just painful. It probably burnt to death. So yeah, it's either incredibly tedious because you can't complete the level at the speed you want to, but it can also be a case of this is rushing you and you can't make the right moves. Okay, now we've got more flying pirates. Fairly certain. Come at me! What's that? Feeling the heat? That was terrible. Look, it's what every hero needs. We need a good cheesy pun. Did I get it in the right spot? And... oh, I actually stuck the landing! Oh, for what... I probably shouldn't. I thought I was going to fall off, and in fairness, I legitimately didn't think I'd made it. But if we fire that... we thankfully don't hit the lovely glider. And we can get ourselves another missile expansion. Right on the edge. Right on the other edge. Rightio, now we'll need to head out to the gravity chamber to grab another expansion. We'll wrap things up with that. At least this time I actually remember where I'm going. Heavens above, that was embarrassing. I was just sort of standing right where the path was. I can't believe that. Well, actually, given the way I've played sometimes, I actually can quite easily believe it. We'll probably head to Talon 4 to grab a couple of things, because I think we're pretty much set. Well, there's one thing in Magmore Caverns. There we are, and they fade away into nothingness. Effortless conclusion. Now, what am I looking for? I think I have to climb a few more platforms. I wonder what... It makes me wonder, what are the most popular and prominent video game environments? I think deserts and hills are usually pretty prominent. I mean, you've got levels like Green Hill Zone, for example. You've got Bob-omb Battlefield. You've got a lot of the standard levels and things like that in Mario games. Oh well. Back in form. That's a little disheartening, if I'm going to be honest. I thought I'd done so well too. So yeah, I don't seem to mind desert areas that much. Despite the fact that I basically come from a country that's... well, it's like Tatooine, but it's just got... oh, it's a lot more on fire, basically. It's absolutely chock full of things that will kill you. Okay, yeah, I think we need to hit the power bombs here. And there we are. Artifact of Spirit is ours. Not too many more to go. Well, 4. That's not too many, but still. Kind of stands to reason. And more little tidbits from the pirates. How did they manage to wind up getting all these things in here but not take the artifact back to their base? Strange. Now, if I remember correctly... I think I can go higher in this area. Oh, yeah. So I need to get the glider in the right spot. And over we go, because that is the path to another expansion. It's a power bomb. We have one more, and that's in the Warrior Shrine in Magmore Caverns. Alrighty-o. Just a bit of... This is Security Cave. Right, well, we'll wrap things up here for the moment. Just peering down that little tunnel. Thank you very much for joining me. Till next time, this is Red 2 returning to base.